Some women don't just enter a room, they transform it. Not because they speak louder or dress brighter, but because there's something unshakable in how they carry themselves. It's not loud confidence. It's silent certainty. It's not arrogance. It's deep alignment with self-worth. These women don't chase attention, they attract it. They don't beg for respect. They radiate it, and the world around them responds without question. A high-value woman isn't defined by money or status or perfection. She's defined by how grounded she is in her identity, how calm she remains under pressure, how clear she is about her boundaries, and how kindly she walks away from what disrespects her peace. Men don't just admire her, they respect her deeply. Because she stands firm where most collapse, she values herself even when no one's watching. And psychology has long studied this rare type of woman, not to glorify her, but to understand what makes her so magnetic. In this video, we'll explore 7 powerful psychological traits that make a high-value woman irresistible to those around her. Traits that every young adult needs to recognize, whether you're building your identity, looking for love, or just trying to understand what real confidence looks like in a world full of noise. And if you want to keep uncovering more truths like this, gently tap the subscribe button and stay close to the wisdom that helps you grow. My dear friends, one of the first signs of a high-value woman is that she doesn't fear being alone. She doesn't settle just to avoid loneliness, because she understands that peace is far more valuable than presence. This kind of woman would rather sit in silence than tolerate shallow conversations. She chooses her space with intention, not desperation, and that changes everything. Most people enter relationships hoping to feel whole, but she enters whole already. She's not seeking someone to complete her. She's looking for someone who can meet her where she already is. Another powerful sign is emotional control. While many react with anger, jealousy, or insecurity, a high-value woman responds with calm. She doesn't let her emotions run the show. She lets them speak, but she never lets them drive. She can be hurt, but you won't see her lash out in revenge. She can be disappointed, but you won't see her beg for attention, because she's learned that dignity speaks louder than drama, and not every action deserves her reaction. She also knows how to say no without guilt, and how to walk away without causing a scene. Boundaries are not walls for her. They are doors she opens carefully and closes with care when something feels wrong in her body, in her spirit, in her mind. She listens, not because she's stubborn, but because she trusts her intuition. And that self-trust is rare. It's earned through experience, through trial and error, through choosing herself even when it's uncomfortable. And yet, despite all this strength, she's not cold. She's warm, loving, and open. But she doesn't overgive. She doesn't try to earn love by sacrificing her needs. Many women are taught to give and give until there's nothing left. But the high-value woman has learned that real love doesn't require losing yourself. She shows kindness with wisdom, care with clarity, love with limits. And this balance is what makes her truly unforgettable. Most importantly, she's not in competition with other women. She doesn't need to dim someone else's light to shine. She celebrates others while still honoring herself. And this emotional maturity creates a quiet confidence that draws others in, not through force, but through energy. It's not about being better than others. It's about being fully herself. And in a world that constantly tells women who they should be, the high-value woman chooses to be who she truly is. My dear friends, when a woman lacks these high-value traits, her world often becomes a silent battlefield. She may smile in public, play her roles perfectly, meet everyone's expectations. But deep inside, there's a quiet ache, a sense that she's always pouring from an empty cup. She finds herself saying yes when she means no, staying when she should leave, loving with the hope that someone will finally see her worth. But the more she gives, the more invisible she feels, and that invisibility begins to hollow her from the inside. Without emotional boundaries, her energy gets drained by people who only take. She becomes the one who fixes, who nurtures, who saves until she forgets how to save herself. And in trying to be everything for everyone, she becomes nothing for herself. She may find herself trapped in patterns where love feels like a transaction, where attention feels like validation, and silence feels like punishment. She starts to believe that love must be earned, that peace is only deserved after struggle, and that respect will come only if she sacrifices enough. The damage goes deeper when she starts ignoring her intuition, when red flags become background noise, when her body screams no, but her heart keeps saying maybe. She begins to doubt her own feelings, her own voice. Her sense of identity weakens because she's constantly adapting to what others want. And the fear of being alone becomes louder than the desire to be understood. This kind of internal conflict is exhausting. It's not always loud, but it slowly breaks her spirit. It makes her question if she's too much or not enough. And either way, she feels like she's losing. And the truth is, many women stay stuck here for years. Not because they don't want better, but because they've been told that self-worth is selfish, that choosing themselves means abandoning others, that being strong means being hard. So they shrink, they soften their truth, they smile when they want to scream, and the world claps for their kindness, but never asks about their exhaustion. It's a cycle that feeds on silence, and healing begins only when she decides that her story matters, that her feelings are valid, that her needs are not a burden. So if you've ever felt this silent pain, this slow erosion of your worth, know that you're not alone. Know that you are allowed to change your story. And if this message speaks to something inside you, then stay with us, because the next part of this journey will help you reclaim your strength, rediscover your worth, and rebuild yourself from the inside out. And if this kind of truth is something you want more of, I gently invite you to subscribe and walk this healing path together. My dear friends, healing begins the moment a woman stops looking outward and starts listening inward. When she sits with her pain, not to drown in it, but to understand it, she begins to realize that her worth isn't tied to how others treat her. It's tied to how deeply she chooses to respect herself. This shift doesn't happen overnight, but it starts with small, sacred decisions, saying no without explaining, walking away without guilt, protecting her energy like it's something precious. Because it is, and once she does that, the world starts responding differently. One of the most powerful mindset shifts is understanding that being soft is not the opposite of being strong. In fact, softness is a form of strength that doesn't need to crush anything to prove its power. She learns to let go of the need to be liked and instead focuses on being respected. She starts choosing quality over quantity, peace over chaos, truth over performance, and that authenticity begins to glow from her in ways makeup never could. She becomes magnetic, not because she tries, but because she's aligned, grounded, and finally home in her own soul. Healing also means redefining what love looks like. She no longer accepts love that confuses her, that manipulates her, or makes her feel like she has to earn her place. She stops chasing people who can't see her and starts choosing people who don't make her doubt herself. She understands that real love feels safe, consistent, and calm, not addictive or dramatic. And this inner peace becomes her standard. She no longer lowers her voice to keep the peace. Instead, she speaks her truth with grace, even if her voice shakes, because now she knows she's allowed to take up space. The high-value woman doesn't arrive perfect. She becomes through the choices she makes when no one is watching, through the strength she finds after every heartbreak, through the self-respect she builds by choosing her boundaries over her fears. She no longer confuses sacrifice with love or chaos with passion. She sees clearly now, and she leads her life with quiet certainty, with deep awareness, and with a heart that no longer rushes to prove anything. She's done proving. Now she simply lives, breathes, and radiates a presence that is unshakable. And in this journey of becoming, she inspires others without even trying. Her growth is not loud, but it is undeniable. Her presence does not demand, but it changes the energy of every space she enters. And if you're someone who's walking toward this version of yourself, keep going. Keep choosing yourself even when it's hard, because becoming high value isn't about being better than others. It's about being the most honest, healed, and powerful version of you. And I hope you stay with us as we keep exploring truths that awaken your hidden strength. My dear friends, if no one ever told you this before, then let me say it now. You are allowed to grow beyond who you were taught to be. You are allowed to set boundaries without explaining yourself. You are allowed to walk away from what drains you and run toward what brings you peace. Your voice matters even when it shakes. Your feelings matter even when they're misunderstood. And your presence is enough even when the world tells you otherwise. Becoming a high-value woman isn't about becoming perfect. It's about becoming whole. It's about choosing healing over history, growth over guilt, strength over survival. It's about unlearning what made you shrink and embracing the woman you were always meant to be. And no matter where you are in that journey, you're not behind, you're not late, you're right on time, and your story still matters. So if this message touched something inside you, if it made you feel seen, understood, or stronger, then stay connected with us. Because here at Hidden Minds, we're not just talking psychology, we're speaking to your soul, one truth at a time.